Before we get it cracking, this video is sponsored by Skylum. Okay, so check me out. You could be out there taking natural light pictures on location. You could be taking natural light pictures and using a reflector, or maybe even using a strobe light that can go to war with the sun and allow you to control the exposure of your subject and your sky. But the one thing you have no control over is Mother Nature. Sometimes she's gonna give you some epic light and clouds. Sometimes she's gonna give you a plain blue sky. This is the thing, right? Ever since I started using Luminar AI, I look at boring skies differently. Because with the click of a button, I'm able to take my image to the next level using Sky AI. And not only that, it now has some dope AI portrait editing tools that makes retouching a breeze. This shot right here is good, but I'm gonna take it to the next level. Watch this. When I open up the photo in Lightroom, I'm gonna go to the photo, edit in, and then send it over to Luminar AI. The AI software then recommends certain templates based on what it thinks would look best. These templates do more than just color. It enhances and corrects other parts of the photo using AI. I normally don't convert my photos to black and white, but this one's looking good. Next, I'm gonna go right to the Sky AI panel, and I'm gonna see which sky looks best for this photo. Once I find one, I'm also able to defocus it to match the depth of field of the photo, which is super important to make it look real. I can use the horizontal slider to shift the clouds up and down to find that perfect sweet spot. And then I do my final tweaks like the close gap slider to really fine tune those edges by the bridge. I'm gonna head over to Enhance AI and use the Sky Enhancer to bring some drama to the sky and the clouds. Now I'm going to the portrait tools. I'm gonna start with Face AI. I'm going to use Face AI to bump the exposure on her face and slim it just a little bit since I'm shooting so close to her with a wider lens. I'm gonna make her eyes stand out by tweaking these sliders, and I'm gonna lighten up the circles under her eye a bit. Now I wanna smoothen the skin, so I'm gonna go to Skin AI. Retouching skin is the most time consuming part of my process, easily. And here you can do it using a simple slider. If you're looking for that Barbie skin, however, this is not gonna give it to you, but it will give you a nice smooth look while still retaining the texture and the detail in the skin. Once I find my sweet spot for this photo, I'm gonna go over to composition and get my line straight and crop out that reflector that's popping out on the right. Then when I click apply, and then the image goes back to Lightroom. This is where I normally would use my personal color presets, but there is no color here. So I'm gonna make some final adjustments like adding a little contrast, deepening the blacks a little bit, and I am done. The most important thing when it comes to retouching skin and making skin smooth is you wanna retain the texture of the skin. You wanna be able to still see the pores of the skin. Anybody could just apply a layer of blur or go in Lightroom and turn that texture slider. That's not gonna do it. Doesn't look good. Luminar AI has Skin AI, and what it's doing, it's giving you smooth skin while retaining the texture. Super fast and easy. Let's dive a little deeper into these portrait tools. Whenever I retouch a photo, I usually start with skin anyways. So we're gonna start with skin. Let's just bump the amount all the way to 100. And let's see the difference here. That's before and that's after. Before and after. Okay, so a couple things I noticed. You see right here, right under the eye, do you see the line and all this? It kind of just meshes, it brings it all together nice and smooth. See right here, some of the bumps on the skin. Again, smooth, right? It doesn't touch the lips, it doesn't touch the teeth, which is important, right? And doesn't go on the eyes. But one thing I do notice that it does kind of go on the hair right here. And now normally it's not a big deal to smoothen out the hair, but if you did want to remove that, it's very easy. You click this brush right here, and that's what it's for. You click the erase right here, and all you're gonna do is just run this over the hair that's by the face, and that is gonna remove the blur that is going on to the hair. As simple as that. Click it again. Now when we go in, you're gonna see now before and after. See, the blur is not touching the hair anymore, it's just going on the skin. And that is like the perfect amount of blur. The person looks like a human being. They're not gonna look like a Barbie doll. Skin defects, there aren't many defects. There aren't any defects on the skin actually. So this tool is not gonna do anything because there aren't any defects, right? So now let's back up just a tad. Now we're gonna go to Face AI. Face AI is great for when you have a face that's dark, a little bit underexposed. You can add some light onto the face here. See, I'm gonna bump it up all the way. It just focuses light on the face, and that's great because the face should be the focus of the portrait. Here, because I use my external lighting and I think I got the lighting pretty much good out of camera. I'm not gonna use this too much. I'm not, because I want there to be a little bit of shadow on that side. So I'm gonna just bump it up just a tad. Slim face. I don't need slim face. I'm gonna go all the way. It's gonna look funny. I don't need slim face because I'm shooting with a longer lens. When you're shooting with a wider lens, you may wanna slim the face because you're distorting the face a little bit. So I don't need that right now. So I'm gonna leave it just like that. Let's open up the eyes and the mouth panels. Eyes, it's really cool what we can do with the eyes here, okay? Iris, you can change the color of the iris in the eye. You can go blue, which that looks really crazy actually. Let's turn that down. So let's turn that down. You can go brown, you can go gray, hazel. You can do whatever you want to do. For me, I like to keep my portraits as natural as possible, so I'm not gonna touch that. Iris flare. This is good for like let's say to pretend like there was a reflector under them, like right here. I'm not gonna use that because there is no reflector or any light source coming up from the bottom. I'm not gonna turn that on. My favorite tool in the eyes is the eye enhancer. This is what's gonna sharpen up that iris and really bring it out. See that? I love that. So eye enhancer is my favorite one. Eye whitening, you wanna be careful again, because this can get corny. This can get cheesy. I've seen this before. You don't wanna just overuse these tools. Her eyes are already white. So I'm not gonna use a lot of it. I'm gonna just use a very subtle amount. This is a before and after. See that? Natural, subtle, but sharp. You can enlarge the eyes. This is great for when someone's like squinting, or you wanna just bring out the eyes, right? I think maybe just a little bit would work here. I think like that would work. I don't wanna go too crazy again. I wanna keep it as natural as possible. And let's go red eye removal. We don't have any red eye. Dark circles. So this brightens up the bottom of the eye, as you see here. And she doesn't have dark circles here. There's no dark circles. There's just that natural darkness under the eye, which you shouldn't remove. That's natural. Leave it there. When you turn this up all the way, it does lighten that up a little bit. I would rather have it dark here. It works here. It looks natural. I'm gonna leave that alone. Improving eyebrows with this slider, you can do that. I would just slightly bump that up. And now the mouth, we got the lip saturation. Let's just bump this all up so you can see what it does. It widens up the teeth. That's a great tool to have. I'm not gonna use any of this really because I think that's not necessary. Maybe just use a little bit of it. Let's turn this like this. Let me see before and after. That's fine. So now we're gonna leave face AI. We're gonna go to body AI. Body AI is great for trimming someone down. How many times have people asked you, hey, can you make me look good in Photoshop? People just want to see themselves look nice and slim in pictures, and plus pictures do add on a couple pounds. It allows you to change the shape of the person, whether you want to add a little bit of weight, whether you want to slim them down a little bit. That's up to you. Elizabeth does not need any of that here. She's perfectly fine the way she is. Abdomen, again, she doesn't need any kind of body shaping, but it's nice to have that option. So here's a before and after. Before and after. Before and after. Look at the skin. Look how nice and smooth it is. I told you a little bit about what templates are. They are not just color presets. They actually make other changes to the photo, like some may slim the body down and enhance the eyes, all at a click of a button. If you don't like one thing, you can go into the edit tab and it'll show you the changes it made so you can decide whether or not you want it. Composition AI will try and choose the best photo crop for your photo. Erase AI, in my opinion, is a spot healing brush on steroids. You can easily highlight something that you want removed from the photo, and artificial intelligence will do the rest. This is amazing for removing distracting elements in a picture. I already told you about Sky AI and how I feel about it. This is my favorite feature of Luminar AI. You can control the ambient and flash exposure in camera like I did for this photo, but you can't control the weather and the sky. This allows me to have even more control of my photo. My favorite tools for fine-tuning color is one, super contrast. Gives you a lot more control of the highlights, the midtones, and the shadows, and color harmony, which gives you just overall more control of the color in a photo. And hey, if you're wondering what the best export settings are for social media, I like to resize my images to 2048 pixels on the long edge, medium sharpen, and I always use PNG format. The one thing I love about Luminar AI is that it's not forcing you into a whole new program, like drop everything that you're doing. You need to learn this now. I love the fact that they're offering it as a plugin, because I like my workflow, and a lot of you guys like your workflow right now. Your current workflow is working for you. Well, my workflow consists of Lightroom and Photoshop, and I'm able to use Luminar AI as a plugin. That is perfect for me. It's like adding a tool in your toolkit rather than just swapping it out with another one. You know what I'm saying? There are things that I can do in Luminar AI that I can't do, or I don't know how to do on Lightroom and Photoshop. And there are things that I can do in Photoshop, but I just don't know how, or it takes too long, and I'm able to do it super fast on Luminar AI. If anyone out there is interested in trying out Luminar AI for yourself, I'm gonna leave a link down below, but I am gonna give you one tip, okay? Make sure your computer is up for it. Artificial intelligence editing is kind of taxing on the computer, so make sure your computer is up to date, it's modern, and somewhat powerful, because you're gonna have a lot of fun in this program. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of fun and experimenting that you can do with your images that you wouldn't know how to do with other programs. It's just a lot of fun. You have to check it out. The link will be down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video.